dancing, taking full advantage of this spiritual playground. My name is Reverend Casey Taylor. I use they, them pronouns. We only use a mic in the room so that y'all can hear us online. So for those of you who are joining, checking in, feel free to say hello. This is actually, of all of the Spirit Uncuffs that there have ever been, this is the best one for you to drop your comments. One, because Donnell's behind the camera and he's really good at reading comments as they come through and shouting out, hey, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
But
I got y'all.
Today's, we are uncuffed in a way that Spirit called for us to be uncuffed in ways that I didn't know was going to happen until Thursday. And that was the beginning, and it's just continued to flow in this very uncuffed fashion. And I think what's beautiful about this community is that we roll with it, that we understand what we are here to do is listen and allow ourselves to be guided. So we've been guided to a music-free, sound bath-free, I shouldn't even say music-free because Lynn led us in a musical chant today. So maybe that'll happen. Maybe Spirit will inspire us to sing together again. We will see what happens. But this is a different, slimmed down experience. And so for those of you who are online, I'm going to encourage you to chat away, do your thing, let us know what you're thinking and feeling. But with it being slimmed down, what's going to happen is that we're going to kind of move in our normal flow without the music, and then we're going to stop recording and have a conversation amongst us in the room. Cool. Whoever wants to participate, it's uncuffed. However it goes is however it goes. But that's what we're going to do. So those of you online are welcome to check in as we go through. And let me give you a little rundown of specifically what to expect over the course of the next hour. Was far away from the thing. You know, I don't even know if I checked if this mic worked or if the clicker button is in here.
How you doing?
I don't think I even checked.
Hello.
Because I think it's still in the pouch.
There it goes.
Yeah, I had to go and push it. I think
You want me to push it?
this needs to be plugged into the computer. I figured it out. So, thank you. That's all we need. Thank you. So the session flow, the sound bath, Danny did not lead our sound bath today because Spirit led Danny in a different direction. And so Lynn led an incredible meditation this afternoon. Next, we are going to go through our vision and mission. I already skipped ahead to all the things. The vision and mission, where our vision and mission, I say repeatedly, especially for those of you who are brand new to this space, if the vision and mission does not resonate with you, please don't affirm it, and feel free to let us know how you feel after the fact, to say, in what ways the vision and mission didn't resonate with me. Let us know, especially because this is a discussion day, so it's a good day to say, this is what didn't resonate with me. Then I'm going to add a slide of the list of the 39 tribes represented here in Oklahoma. We'll just do a brief meditation of being present with the energy and the power of the 39 tribes represented here. I will speak on our weekly theme, then we'll do announcements, conscious giving, and as I said, we're going to hit stop on the camera and then have our private, unrecorded discussion about value, because our theme is about, what is the theme? To go back. A world that values all of who we are, and value really stood out big to me, especially because money shit starts tomorrow. So I was like, all right, this is Spirit orchestrating something cool. So this is what we got going on. This is what we're doing. So let's start with that vision and mission. I invite you to affirm this if it resonates.
We are a loving, inclusive community, joyfully expressing Spirit. We honor, celebrate, and support each individual's awakening to their spiritual sovereignty. We empower each other to create healthy, abundant lives.
And here are the 39 tribes. Usually we have a uncuffed contemplation after this, and there was nobody scheduled today. That's what happened. Nobody was scheduled, and I was like, all right, we are rolling with it. That we are going to have an uncuffed contemplation together after the fact. So that's what it is. So I'm going to roll right into. Did we get this in? Yes, we did. That's right, because I pushed it 100 times. We're going to roll right into the subject, right into the topic. Because like I said, this is slimmed down. So this is, what I've been doing is, the feedback I've received most often from the community is leaning into the science of mind. We want to hear more about the science of mind. So I've been tying our monthly and weekly themes into wherever I am in the Science of Mind foundational book that we use. And so because we're in July, this is the last week of Chapter 7, which Chapter 7's focus is the summary of the Part 1 of Science Mind, which is the nature of being. That is what Part 1 is all about. So I intentionally reviewed this chapter with a focus on value, of having the lens of reading this chapter with value. What is it that speaks to me? What stands out? And what came through in my reading was how we are all spiritual beings. And I say this a lot, and I'm going to say it again. We are all spiritual beings. And I believe that what it means to recognize our value is to walk through the world conscious of the fact that we are spiritual beings. So the quotes that I've pulled from Chapter 7 align with that. They demonstrate, highlight, explain how Science of Mind teaches this. Ernest Holmes said, "Man awakes to self-consciousness finding himself already equipped with a mentality, a body, and an environment." So that alone, and in this, I lately have also not been changing any of the patriarchal centered language, because I don't want to pretend like it's not there. Let's bring it front and center and speak to it, highlight it, reconcile it as we move through. So, and especially this one, this week in particular feels the most patriarchal. So like that's why it's like front and center in my heart, but like, let's talk about it. So this concept of self-consciousness, like that's who we are. That's the gift of what it means to be a human being, is that we are already equipped with a mentality, a body, and an environment. And that's a truly powerful experience. So when I think about, I'm the kind of person who is not at all interested in living off the grid personally. And I love that you are here and that you are. I love electricity. I love air conditioning. I love indoor plumbing. I love it, love it, love it. And I am grateful to have be born in an environment where those qualities, where running water, where all of these things are like pretty much the norm. And I know that there are people who say things like, and I don't disagree with that like how we're physically designed is to live off the land. And the land itself is designed for us to live off of it too. I think there's a way we can do both. We can appreciate the technology, we can live off the land, we can be so much better stewards of our land than we have been. We're capable of it, we have the information, so we are spiritual beings, but we don't live like it. And I don't mean like us in this room, because us in this room do live like it. We chose in a state that is identified as the Bible Belt. Each one of us said, nope, y'all do y'all, I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna do me. and that's a big, big statement. So when I say that we as humans don't recognize our spiritual nature, I'm not really talking about us. But I know that regardless of the fact that we may know mentally, psychologically, that we are spiritual beings, it's not necessarily easy to live like that at all times and all ways. And for me, participating in spiritual community has helped me live consciously from knowing my divinity. And I think the other thing, and this is the quality that many religions fall into, the dangers that religions fall into, is this idea that I am holy but you are not. Yeah. And I think that it's a really special and sacred thing that we show up to empower each other to live happy, healthy, abundant lives, and that we lead with spiritual sovereignty. That our intention is not to to tell you what to believe, but it's to celebrate you for who you are and what you believe, and to recognize your divinity regardless of who you are, regardless of what you've done, regardless of what you believe, to recognize that you are a spiritual being no matter what. So recognizing our value, a world that values all, is a world where we see our own divinity and see the divinity of others. Ernest Holmes said, gradually he discovers one law of nature after another until he conquers his environment through his knowledge of these laws. This is what I mean about the patriarchal language, is this concept of conquering our environment, as opposed to the way, if this was written in a matriarchal way, it would say something like, moves in balance with the environment. And so my gratitude for Ernest Holmes for having started the Science of Mind communities and philosophies is that he was so clear. Like our annual theme for 2026 is open at the top. He was so clear that 100 years later, and we are literally in, like, I think is it next year is the literal 100-year anniversary of this book.
Wow.
He was very much like, I don't want y'all to be teaching this book 100 years from now. Like, this is a foundation. Build something on this. Say something else. Say this thing in a different way with new people. Don't keep quoting me. And I'm telling you, the only reason we're reading this, talking about this book, is because y'all told me that's what you wanted. So it isn't that I'm like, you know, what Open at the Top has looked like for me is knowing that I've never read this book cover to cover, and as a Center for Spiritual Living minister who's been in this surgeon leadership for the last 10 years, I should read the book that we represent. So I was like, all right, like, that's what y'all want. That's what we're doing. But, you know, I agree with this concept. I just would phrase it differently. I would say that gradually we, not he, gradually people discover the law of nature one after the other and learn how to move in flow, move in relationship through our knowledge of these laws. Everywhere he finds that nature does his bidding, patriarchal, insofar as he understands her laws and uses them along the lines of their inherent being. He must first obey nature, and she will then obey him. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, Ernest, all right. So, like, I'm grateful that Ernest, if he was alive today, would probably not, like, even at the end of his life, he probably wasn't writing like this anymore, of obeying, nature doing our bidding. And to be honest, for me, what drew me to the Center for Spiritual Living was that's what I was looking for. I wanted to use the laws of nature to do my bidding. And what I learned the hardest of ways, what I learned the hardest of ways was that nature will do my bidding, but I'm not actually the one who should be determining what the bidding is. That regardless of how smart, how wise, how divine I know of myself to be, I really shouldn't be the one that nature is looking to with whether there needs to be a hurricane today or not. Like, I'm not the one that the divine intelligence, the one mind, knows better about how of the healthiest way for us to be than what I think mentally. And I was drawn, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who was drawn to this concept of law of attraction because of feeling like I have control, because I feel as if the concept of control in our culture is really celebrated. You know, we aren't taught to move and flow at all. This is our culture specifically. There are cultures that operate on island time, and we are not one of them. Yeah. And so, growing up in a culture, I was talking about enjoying living in this world of technology, this world of being in an environment like this. Also comes with this environment where there are specific time constraints and expectations. And that concept of control, I feel like, is really big and loud, specifically in American culture.
Western.
So it was incredibly challenging for me to recognize how much my attachment to control was not serving me or anyone else. Mm-hmm. It was a very long and arduous journey of discovery. And I'm grateful to have learned the value of listening to my intuition and letting it guide me. to knowing and trusting that Spirit has these divine ideas. And, sometimes I say they're divine ideas. Sometimes they don't feel so divine. I spoke to how the way that I got to Oklahoma City was my intuition telling me to blow up my life and move here. I did not want to do that. I did not want to leave my LA life, my Hollywood life, to move to Oklahoma for no inexplicable reason beyond my intuition told me so. Like, that did not feel good. And so learning, I feel like that moment was like the beginning of me learning how to trust and hear my intuition when that voice is still in small, instead of when it is a spiritual 2x4 that smacks me across the head.
Man.
And for me, I would much rather hear it when it's still in small than when it's big and painful. So that I find that, what we're talking about with recognizing our value is recognizing that we've been gifted the opportunity to recognize the ways in which we are socialized around control, to identify our own relationship with flow versus control. And regardless of what culture we're in, we all have those things to look at, to identify what sovereignty looks like for each one of us. And so the concept of value, to me, falls right in line with that. He also said, all nature waits on man's recognition of and cooperation with her laws. I don't know why she's the one who gets laws and man's the only ones who get to use them. I don't know. Nobody asked him that. It's not in any of the books, and he's not around to ask right now. All nature waits on man's recognition of and cooperation with her laws, and is always ready to obey his will. But man must use nature's forces in accordance with her laws and in cooperation with her purpose, which is goodness, truth, and beauty, if he wishes to attain self-mastery. So when we take the control, obeying out of the equation and simply recognize the working in accordance, not necessarily force, it could be. I posted, I saw, I'm in a Facebook group, it's called something like Black Girls Who Read, and it just kind of kept popping up in my feed, and the conversations that were taking place around like books were like, the books they were talking about, the conversations about it, I'm like, yes, I'm joining this group. And somebody posted in the group, what is the most inspiring book you've ever read? And I didn't have that answer for myself in the moment, and I wanted to hear what my community had to say about it. So I posted that and got an opportunity to hear the kinds of things that the books that, this is my one book, or these are my three. And why did I bring that up just now? Goodness, self-mastery? I don't even know. One of these quotes reminded me of one of the books that was posted in there, and I don't even remember what it is. So that's what that is, and I'm just going to move on. That's what happened. I don't even know. I was like, why did I tell you that? Really? I don't know. Maybe it'll come back to me. We'll see what happens. He said, man is potentially perfect, but free will and self-choice cause him to appear imperfect. I used this quote earlier in the month, but I did not include the sentence that came after it. But I wanted to include it just so that we had context instead of leaving it by itself. He goes on to say, in reality, all he can destroy is some particular embodiment of himself. The divine spark is always intact in potential man. So the concept of perfection, and as this month is about wholeness, the concept of perfection, we are not potentially perfect. Free will and self-choice cause us to appear what is imperfect, but it's not about perfect versus imperfect. It's about using the law in accordance with nature and using the law in discord with nature. So the law works every time. We've talked about, especially over the course of the years, we dove into the science of mind. The concept of the science of mind is that energy is soil. That's how this works, is energy and soil. Whatever you put into it grows. So if you put a carrot seed in some soil, you get some carrots. But if you put a carrot seed in some soil and expect zucchini, and you're like, what's happening? Like, that's on you. Your mentality of planning something else and expecting something different, that is on you. So the whole concept of being in accordance of the law is this recognition that the law is going to do what it does. If you're putting lack, fear, limitation into your consciousness, your life is going to give you what you put in. And so our journey of recognizing what it is of looking at our lives, looking at what we have manifested in our lives, and identifying what beliefs we have that created those things. It's easy to look at them from perfect versus imperfect when things don't manifest the way that we think they should. And I have found that once I learned how to release control, that's a big thing, that concept of releasing control. I didn't do that in a day. I didn't do that in 10 days. I did a whole ceremony about releasing control in 2021 and was still nowhere close to having released it by 2024. So it really wasn't, it was not a one and done situation. There was no one perfect prayer that led to it. It was a variety of programs. Al-Anon had so much to do with the release of control, and it's not just the existence of Al-Anon. It was that I went to Al-Anon meetings regularly. I read my reader daily. I don't read it daily. I read it when my intuition calls me to it. I meet with my sponsor regularly. Like, I work that program a lot. And Al-Anon is really centered around identifying our attachment to control and releasing it. So I manifested the perfect experience in my life to be where Al-Anon was the right program for me. And I got an opportunity to finally look at that. And once I put that directed time and energy into letting spirit release that quality, because that's step 7 in the 12 steps. For anybody who's familiar with recovery, the 12 steps. Step 7 is humbly asking God to remove these defects of character. And control was one of my big ones. And in all of my readings around it, it would say, like, you probably tried to release these defects yourself. You saw yourself failing at it, and you probably judged yourself for it. Don't do that. What this step means is that you are asking God to release these defects of character. It's not for you to judge. It's not for you to look at. What is yours to do is to have faith and trust that God's going to do that. And my relationship to control was so intact that step 7 was like one of the hardest steps for me. I'm on step 8 right now. That's how recent this transition is for me. But I've really recognized that this divine spark, there's so much power. This is when we're talking about the value of who we are. It's that this divine spark is always intact, not in potential versions of us. It is always intact. And a potential version of ourselves is just one that doesn't recognize the intact nature of that divine spark to begin with.
Good.
Is that our final quote today? It could be. Let's find out. No, here's the last one. The law has done all it can do automatically for man. It has evolved him to a point of individuality and must now let him alone to discover the secrets of life for himself. So as we are preparing to dive into our live conversation about value, I feel like this is a good place to end, to skyrocket, to firecracker off into recognizing that the law's done what it can to get us to this place of individuality. We have all we need to live a life of comfort on or off a grid. That it's no longer about being potentially perfect. We are currently in a place where we are all exactly where we are meant to be learning, whatever it is that we are meant to be learning. And together we get to pray on that. So I'm going to invite you
sunflower,
all.
wow.
Yeah, shout out to Kylie Holland, who these are her sunflowers out of her yard. And she told me, like, I was telling her about sunflowers they've become my inspiration flower. Sunflowers are just in my life all of a sudden. You got something to say?
Yeah, Becca led the breath work today, and she said, I want you guys to be as sunflowers. We were around the thing this morning, and a sunflower.
Well, yeah, so I mentioned sunflowers. Somebody's like, this morning in this room we're sitting in, this is how sunflowers became my inspiration flower. Because when I talk about sunflowers, somebody has a sunflower story for me. And when I told Kylie the sunflower story, she was like, these sunflowers just grew in my yard. I didn't even plant them. And took this amazing picture and texted it to me the next day. So I was like, I gotta share it. So
all is one.
That's what I'm doing. I'm sharing it with y'all. And I invite you to join me in this experience of prayer. So inviting us to take a moment to settle into the gift of this present moment, this moment that we have all shown up in spiritual sovereignty. I invite us to bring our attention and our awareness to the breath and recognizing how sacred this breath is. It is the place where the divine spark lives, that resides, that can never be taken away. And I am grateful that each one of us chose to bring that spark with us today, choosing to participate either live or online or maybe even after the fact, to show up to empower each other to live happy, healthy, abundant lives, to receive whatever spiritual wisdom is ours to receive, to take into our week. So I'm grateful to trust and know that everything that needs to be said has been said, that everything that needed to have landed has been landed, and will continue to, that the sacred conversation that we are preparing to engage in offline, unrecorded, is divinely appointed. I didn't know, I didn't choose it, I didn't schedule it. Spirit was like, we are the ones to have this collective conversation about value. And I'm grateful that we heard it and that we have shown up for this experience. So in gratitude, I am grateful for all that manifests as a result of this. And I invite us to close this prayer however each of us is most comfortable. I choose to close by saying, and so it is. All right. So let me get into some announcements. We're going to do some announcements, some conscious giving, and then we're going to hit stop and have our conversation. Cannon Church leads the Wednesday outreach at Northwest 23rd and MacArthur every Wednesday at 6-ish p.m. I highly recommend following Cannon Church on Facebook for information. Like if they aren't there for whatever reason, they'll probably post it there. But if you would like to contribute to supporting the Unhoused, bringing food, bringing clothes, whatever kinds of donations, bringing it on Wednesdays around 6-ish to Northwest 23rd and MacArthur. Look for Cody Can, the Medicine Man, and welcome to contribute that way. Money Shit, as I mentioned, starts tomorrow. 7 minutes, 7 days, $7. Spirit gave me this idea too, which is really fun. And we've got, I think, 16 people I said registered for that starting tomorrow. So we're going to get into that. This is how we stop putting scarcity thinking into our consciousness to manifest that. And fun fact for me, since I received this idea for Money Shit, my money shit has turned all the way around. Like, I feel qualified to lead this in a way that I may not have felt qualified to do 2 weeks ago. So I'm grateful for the work I have been doing and the ways in which it is paying off, that it has perfectly prepared me to start this on Mondays. First time I've ever done this, so I'm really excited. And you can, the QR code goes to the registration page, or you can sign up on unitedlife.org, and it's only $7 to sign up. And you don't need to show up to anything. It's low impact spirituality. Robert Brzezinski wrote this incredible article about money shit. Like, Spirit nudged him and was like, hey, you write this. And so that link, QR code, goes directly to Robert's interpretation of money shit, where he described it in ways that I didn't even imagine or think of, but were so on point. And we are including the link to that in the weekly e-blast. So if you get the weekly e-blast, you might have already have it, and we'll probably send it out one more week, as this is the last week that Money Shit's going on. This will be our last week to register. Somebody did ask me if there was a deadline, and my way, like, the way this works is it's your intuition. So if your intuition inspires you to sign up on the last day, you get 1 day worth of content and have the ability to check in with us, because we'll be meeting together on the very last day on August 3rd, Monday, August 3rd at 7 p.m. virtually. So when people ask that, like, you do you. If you sign up Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, like, it is what it is. Your intuition is telling you that's what you need. That our potluck is the first Sunday of every month, so the next one is happening on August 2nd, and we could definitely use some things like plates, not napkins, we're good on napkins, but plates, plasticware, things, bowls, cups, especially. We got no cups. But we use cups in there, so it's good for the environment, but there are things like, there's not enough cups in there sometimes for all we got going on, so it would be cool to have some disposable ones. And I used this sunflower pick for this concept of a sacred commitment ceremony that came to me in meditation. On August 5th, I noticed my own habits of having a ritual, personal ritual that took place on that day. And I was called to what I thought I was going to do. And like I said, my money shit has changed in a way that what I was going to do on August 5th is not very different than what I thought I was going to do on August 5th. But still, I am fully available for August 5th at 7 p.m. So the day of ritual that I thought I'd have and the reality of the day of ritual that I'm going to have, we're still in process. Rev Lynn is officiating. What that means, we don't know, but we gonna have a conversation about it. And it's gonna take place in this room. So if your intuition says to you, I'm gonna do this for the sacred commitment ceremony, please let me know, because that meant Spirit told you that's yours to do. We're just moving in flow, just like the Spirit Uncuffed. We are moving in flow and seeing what happens. Pagan Pride Day is coming up on August 8th. They have gifted us a table. They have identified two organizations that they gifted tables to. Sisu Youth Services, the place where one of my money shit situations has expanded, is one of them. So I don't know why two of the organizations where I serve were identified as the recipients of free tables at Pagan Pride Day. I really don't know, but money shit, abundance, we in it. So I would love to not be at that table by myself all day that day. So please feel free to stop in, say hello, hang out with me. Tell people about your experience of Spirit Uncuffed and United Life, because that's always really helpful for people to have a diversity of voices, even if you've only been here one time. Feel free to check in. That QR code goes directly to their website with information, with the address and those kinds of things. And again, that information will be in our e-blast. And Nina, I saw you sneaking in. Do you have like paper newsletters for us today?
I do.
Nina brought paper newsletters today. So our first 2026 newsletter is officially out, and y'all will be the first people to put your physical hands. We don't do enough reading physical media anymore. We did send that out electronically as well, but you'll get an opportunity to check out the whole newsletter situation. And Pagan Pride Day might be in there. May or may not be. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. Leadership Council meeting. Those are always, not always, I should say that, usually second Sundays of every month. So August 9th will be our next one, happening in that room next door. And we're on YouTube, we're on TikTok. Feel free to follow us on All Things in All Ways. All right, let's go to conscious giving. So, we usually cycle through the Haudenosaunee Thanksgiving address, and where we happen to be is on the powers of four winds. So, I invite you to affirm this with me if it resonates. We are all thankful to the powers we know as the four winds. We hear their voices in the moving air as they refresh us and purify the air we breathe. They help us to bring change to seasons. From the four directions they come, bringing us messages and giving us strength. With one mind we send our greetings and thanks to the four winds. Now our minds are at. And Mary Lee's going to be going around with our gold collection plate. If you can give financial energy, you can give some love energy, whatever it is that you're called to. And if you are the kind of person who does not keep physical money in your pockets, I am definitely one of those people as well. There are alternative ways to give. We have this give to text option where you just text the number. Say, for instance, if you were giving $10, you would text the number 10 to this phone number. It would ask you some more questions about credit card, address, all that stuff. But once you give via text, you never have to answer those questions again. If you go to the QR code on our United Life page, it will ask you the same questions every time. So however you are, whatever you want to do, we're going to have a fantastic conversation about prosperity this week. We've got part of our money shit. Spirit compelled that as well. I'm grateful that we'll have some really cool things coming out to talk about around what we're doing with our money shit as a community at the same time that this program's coming out. Look at that alignment. So with ending our recorded version with conscious giving, as we flow into value, just felt like it went. We're giving, and then we're about to flow into our conversation about value. So for those of you who may be joining us online, thank you so much. And we hope to see you in person or online again next week, same time, same bat place, same bat channel.